my face in many of the webinars. I welcome you all in today's webinar too. It's a roundtable discussion with our esteemed alums. And we have two of them today, Mudita and Abhinav, who's going to join us in a short while. So today what we'll do is, we'll, of course, discuss about PGP that cannot be left behind. As the title suggests, is the PGP advantage. So we'll discuss about the nuances of PGP, the value propositions which you get once you become a part of the PGP cohort, what you should keep in mind if you want to make a great application at ISB. We'll also allude to the fact, and we'll also discuss about the fun aspect in the campus, because that is an ineluctable part of the PGP experience, right? So you're going to listen to all of this from the mouths of the people who have traversed the entire path themselves, from being an applicant to being an alum. So without taking much of the time, and in fact, we'll give you some time at the end of the session to ask your questions. We'll open the floor. You can raise your hands and you can get your questions answered by the alums and by us. So without taking any more time, I would like to invite Mudita first, because we only have Mudita right now. So Mudita, we would like you to just introduce yourself to the people so that they know whom they're talking to. And we would like to understand more from your experiences in ISB.
Sure. Thank you, Ketan. Thank you for giving this chance to again connect with ISB. I passed out in 2023. It was a wonderful journey. You can ask me questions about, as Ketan suggested, from starting the application process. But before that, I think it will be better if I let you know about myself. So I passed out of, I completed my work when I...
Mudita, I guess there's some network issue.
Sorry?
There's some network issue we missed.
Yeah. So would you like to log off and come back?
I think it should be okay. Better?
It is okay now. Yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, yeah. I was working with GE Healthcare. The beginning years of the career was as a software developer. And then I transitioned into program management role. Before applying to ISB, apart from career, it is very important to also focus on other kinds of co-curricular activities. For that, So for that, it was, I was very interested in school and college. I had participated in a lot of competitions and won prizes in some. Other than that, was a participant in an NGO where I used to go on weekends and teach maths. So yeah, that's about me. Post ISB, I got into product management role in Paytm.
Great. So I'm sure students must be, writing their own notes when they're listening to you as to what makes an ideal candidate. Of course, there is no ideal candidate, as you would know from the experience of it. We have Abhinav now. Abhinav, if you've joined, why don't you give us an introduction of yourself and then we move on to the questions.
Sure. I'm so sorry for keeping you guys waiting, because I'm just settling into a place right now, just left off.
No worries.
1 minute. Yeah. I hope you can see me now. Yeah. You can't?
Not as yet, but probably when you come on camera.
Okay, so I'll fix all the logistics after answering this question.
Yes.
So my name's Abhinav. I used to be an architect before ISB, and apart from being an architect, I used to do music full time. So there's been a while where I was a professional musician, and then I was an architect, all creative stuff, nothing to do with business. And then suddenly, of course, I thought of going to B school, and nothing better than ISB in India. And ISB is also like great that they choose people like me, and then also offer diversity scholarships, etc. when they see people who are slightly different and not very heavily academic. So for all of you who are listening to me right now, if you feel that you're not the best academically, but there are some other things that you're good at, then ISB definitely is the place to be.
Absolutely, so, absolutely. Short. I guess. Yeah, please go ahead, Abhinav.
Yeah, so let's keep it short and let's take it forward to question and how you want to proceed.
Yeah, so means there are a few questions in my mind because people often talk to us as to what is an ideal candidate and how does he look like, whether he has some extraordinary good looks or something like that. But the fact is that we all are very normal human beings, and once we realize our potential, probably that is the time for us to apply, and that is the time for us to make it big. One of the very common questions, very ubiquitous questions when we talk to the candidates, they also have this in mind as to why ISB and why PGP. Right. It's one of the most important questions and one of the shortest questions that somebody can ask them in the interview, and something which they need to be clear about in their mind before they apply. So, how do you think you answer this question, Mudita?
Yeah, so I had 4 to 5 years of work ex, as I said, when I applied. So ISB fit well for my resume. That could be one of the reasons. Other possible reasons could be because the pro part, which Abhinav also mentioned, is the diversity. So if you feel that you want that diversity or you can bring that diversity, ISB is the place to be. Like, it goes both ways, is what I'm trying to say on that factor. And there's this question whether to apply for foreign colleges, like go outside of India or be in India. So for that, I was clear that I wanted to study in India, and given the situation environment, I think this is a better place to be. That would be my third point. The fourth would be the teaching style is very different. I mean, the way the professors give us assignments or they teach us the subjects, the courses, it's very fast paced. If there's something like when I was doing the course, that's when ChatGPT was made public, and professors introduced it then and there in the courses, and they told us that you can use ChatGPT to answer the questions and just mention the prompts that you're using. So that way, it's very fast paced, and it's a bit different from Ratta Bazi is not there, is what I'm.
Yes.
So those were the things which I understood from the alums when I talked to, and found it true to be when I
sure. Yeah, right. Abhinav, can you hear us now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just asking Mudita about why ISB and why PGP question, the most commonly asked question. So, if you have any wisdom that you want to share, please go ahead.
Do you want an answer that we have to give in the interviews, or
Absolutely.
do
I
you
think
want
that
an
will help
answer
them in
that?
the interview as well.
Okay, so no, but I'll start with what I genuinely feel, even before, and of course, you can whatever I genuinely feel can also be used in the interview, so don't worry. First of all, thanks for some of you who've been writing to me on LinkedIn if I am the Abhinav Gupta doing this session. Yes, I am the one. And so why ISB? The kind of professors that you get at ISB is something that you will not get anywhere else in the country, number one. Number two, if you even end up going to Harvard in the US, you will only get Harvard professors. But when you study at ISB, you still get like the best of Harvard and the best of Stanford and some like the dean who's from London School of Business and so on and so forth. So it's like the correct amalgamation of a lot of good things together. Number two, for me, like an Indian style education was no more on the charts because I had been to Ashoka. After which I realized that in this international kind of education, if I go abroad, there's there's not much support on placements. Where at ISB, you are getting the best of both worlds. On one side, you're getting American style B school education, and on the other side, you're also getting the IM Ahmedabad style placements, and actually placements that are probably slightly better than the best schools that are available in the country. Also, for instance, right now I work as a brand manager with Hindustan Unilever, managing this very old coffee brand called Brew. And I realized that the kind of network that we have within HUL is also great. One of our directors, he was recently at campus as well. His name is Kedar Lele. Uh, he's running to be the CEO in the next few years, by the way. Is from ISB. And then in each team that I know at Unilever, there is definitely one or two people from ISB. Right now, Lakme and Ponds are being headed by somebody who's from ISB. We have a partnership with PepsiCo where we do Lipton iced tea that is being headed by someone from ISB. And I can just go on and go on and on. And similarly, right now I know someone called Vivek Arora who just got in 40 under 40 in the Boston Review, and he's a McKinsey senior partner in Boston, not even in India, and he's also from ISB. Viacom 18, the company that made something like Bhag Milkha Bhag, Chief Operating Officer, ISB. So, I mean, I can just go on and on and on and on, and you will know why we all went to ISB and why everyone should aspire to be at ISB.
So Abhinav, I was listening to you very intently, and actually your answer and the kind of things which Mudita just elucidated a few minutes back, rather than motivating people at times, sometimes also demotivate them, because people think that is it there in them to make it to ISB, right? Because
Okay, then.
people often ask me this question, like, can you evaluate my profile and tell me whether I'll make it to ISB? So can you just give a brief, Mudita and you, probably about the kind of diversity that we have in the class, and what do you think, like, what it takes? Like, I can understand that there are 50 people from the same profile applying and only 5 of them or 10 of them getting selected. So what is that extra thing that you get which pushes you into the class? Mudita, should we go with you first?
Sure, works. So if I've understood well, your question is that how to know whether my profile is suitable for ISB or not.
Yes.
Got it. So see, I mean, if you're true to what you have done, and if you have in all these years, if you have always taken some extra, gone some miles extra and done something, it could be anything. It could be a small and simple thing such as organizing things better, or if you can present it that present whatever you have done in a way which gives confidence to the other person that you have that passion and fire within you. So that's my subjective answer. So your profile will be valid. The second part is you can never be sure. So I would say this might be a counterintuitive and a revolutionary thought, but I would like to tell you that if you have the time and if you have little bit money to spare, just get down, write down your resume, do the best evaluation of yourself and apply for it. I mean, that is also a journey which you should take. Whether you are taken into ISB or not, that is a secondary matter, but you should apply. And even if you are rejected, you should not feel that you are not worth it. It may be, most of the times it is that you are not being able to put forward what you have already done. So most of the people have it in them. So in our batch, the GMAT scores ranged from 680, 690 to maybe even below that. But I know personally 680, 690 to more than 750, 760. So it is not necessary that you should be strong in one particular, like padhai mein hi acha hona hai, or maybe you have to be national level player or anything. There were people who had built startup which had failed, but still they were in ISB. So it's what you bring to the table. If you have the passion and fire within you, I think you should apply.
Great. I guess Abhinav would have a few things to add as well.
So I personally feel that you don't need any X factor to get anywhere in life. I was someone who got like maybe what 86, 87% in school, which was considered pretty average. And Delhi University rejected me because you needed like 96, 97% to get in there. And I was playing guitar all this while. वो बहुत शिद्दत से बजा रहा था पर बट शिद्दत से गिटार बजा रहा था उससे भी काम चल गया. So as Mudita said, if you've done anything right in life, anything means anything. Even if you were like running an NGO and doing it well, even if you were working for an NGO and doing something which was slightly different from what an average person does, it's very easy to like crack into ISB. Of course, any top school will always have like 4-5% intake rate, so that is there. But that said, if some people like you are here at 6:51 in the evening instead of chilling with friends, I'm sure you might be amongst those 5%, 7% people who make it to schools like ISB.
Absolutely. Interesting. I mean, look, when you were actually preparing for it, I'm sure a thought process must have gone behind the idea of applying to ISB. Did it occur to you that you should actually go for a 2-year program and as compared to a 1-year program? Because, you pay a decent amount as fees in ISB. That's what people say. So is it going to be sufficient for them to be into the class for just 1 year? And will they be able to extract that kind of advantage in 1 year itself? What do you say about that? I'll go with Abhinav first this time.
So I'm like a Marwadi guy, and like for me, time is money. And like, why should you waste 2 years if you can do it in 1 year? Of course, 1 year is more strenuous and more hard work, and a lot more energy goes into doing this 1 year MBA. But the fact that you've saved that 1 year, had had I taken the 2 year MBA, right now I would not be managing something like Brew, and I would instead be sitting in the classroom at maybe say one of the XLRI or IIM or whatever, and thinking कि नौकरी लग जाए. अभी I have खत्म हो गया. I am managing a brand, managing a P&L of like what, over 1,000 CR, and enjoying work and getting to learn a lot more than what I would have learned in additional 1 year at college, because I've been pushed into straight away managing a huge brand. And of course, there are pros and cons, but I personally would feel जो काम जल्दी हो सकता है उसको जल्दी क्यों ना करा जाए.
Right. So Mudita, I guess we are waiting for your response.
Yeah, so I also had these thoughts, and one of the major reasons why I thought a 2-year MBA would be better is because there will be a batch of seniors in the college while you are doing your MBA. So it's better to connect. That was my thinking before I entered ISB. But once I entered ISB, I found out that there are, unlike other B schools where student body only manages most of the things, in ISB, there are many things which are taken care of by admission team, by placement team, which are ISB administrative staff, and they run the things so smoothly, and they get so many alums on the campus, and they're not just 1 year senior to you who are just who are studying, but they are people who are already in the field and have the experience of how things are running post ISB, and they're coming to college to make you understand how you can shape your career better. So that's point number one. And to validate this, in the recent listing that came out, ISB scored very high on the network part. So even though it's 1 year MBA, the email chain, the WhatsApp groups of all the alums, it's very active, and the city chapters, all that is very active. So that part was sorted. There are obviously pros and cons. In 2 years, you can take more time to, in IIM, you will get more time to just chill and have lighter semesters, but terms. But at ISB, you might not get that. But that's, as Abhinav said, that's a decision you will have to make, whether you want to have those free months in your MBA course, which you are doing, or you are good with making the best out of the 1 year that you have, and then starting a career as soon as you can. And one very important point is, if you ISB does not allow people who do not have experience. And personally, I believe one should join an MBA only after you have at least 2 years of experience. So when you join IIMs, there will be people who have just joined, and professors will take time to teach them things from scratch, and visualization will be very difficult. Having experience and then going for MBA, I can vouch that it was very, very much more interesting and stimulating for me to understand the things which the professors were teaching, the case studies that we were reading. My company that I had worked for, I read its case study, and it was so much more engaging. So I think you should do an MBA once you have 2 years of experience, and in ISB you will get all the people who have at least 2 years of work experience. That adds.
Great. Just extracting one of the questions from your answers. It was a long one, but I just want to go into some non-serious kind of stuff now, because with the kind of fast-paced program that it seems to be from a distance, how much time do you people actually have to chill out? Secondly, people also ask me whether we actually get some time to go for some clubs and all the parties and all the things that go on in the campus, the thousands of things, right? So how about that? What was your experience with chilling out, and whether you actually get time to chill out? So, Abhinav, would you like to go first?
So, Ketan, before Abhinav or Mudita start, there's this calculation that 2 years versus 1 year. Would you like to highlight on that, or shall I do that? Because at times people don't understand that, there is no internship with us. So that
Yeah.
calculation, would you like to give, or shall I give? Because there were a couple of questions I answered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, look, first of all, according to very many alums that I've had a word with, the total contact hours are not as less. It's not that a 1-year program at ISB PGP is exactly the half of a 2-year program. That is not the case. Secondly, in a 2-year program, as Mudita was alluding to the fact that you get a lot of time, and that time is actually often wasted. Let's say after a semester, you get a 20-day break, you just chill out. In ISB, it's a common notion that one of the semester ends on a Friday and the next semester starts on a Monday, and in between you have tasks to accomplish. The total contact hours are, if I'm not wrong, 670 hours, right? There can be a difference of 5 to 10 here and there. So it's not exactly half of a 1-2-year program. It's more intense because if you go for ELP, the experiential learning programs and the different projects that you can be a part of, this is happening side by side. So you're learning and then you are testing your knowledge out in the real life industry scenario. So don't worry about the fact that it's, not sufficient. It's absolutely sufficient because we only recruit people who are working professionals. They do not require that 1 year of general education in the class. So we straight away go to the case studies. So I guess that should solve the thing as of now. So what was my question? I forgot my question itself.
Okay, I'll answer that question. Before that,
Parties and the chilling part.
I'll give you the answer. There are 660 contact hours at ISB, whereas in a 2-year program, there are about 720 hours.
Yeah.
And so 720 is like just एक पूरा साल में 60 घंटे extra पढ़ाते हैं वो लोग. The great thing is you don't have any summer break, this break, that break. So that's good only. मतलब अभी summer break school में कर लिया काफी हम लोग ने. Why do we need more summer break in life, especially as adults? And so with 660 hours of stuff, you get a lot of hours. With 660 hours loosely translates to about 3.5 hours of work every day in classroom, plus maybe a 4-5 hours more. So 8-9 घंटे अगर किसी को काम करने की आदत है, after that you have about 5-6-7 hours to do a lot of other stuff. For instance, I was running a band for the Mohali campus. When I lived for a while at the Hyderabad campus, I again gigged a little bit, performed. With the admissions team, I did recordings of the Amit Trivedi show, if I remember correctly. And apart from this, every day we would get some time to go for a swim or a walk. And I think it's not a problem. I think it's a lot of fun. The clubs are really good. And in fact, even after moving out of college, an alum of 2013 and me are trying to form a band right now in Bombay. So the fun carries on even with a lot of hard work. So you guys are chill on that.
So were you involved in something like this? I'm not sure everybody's swimming there, but I'm sure something else.
Yeah. So I think ISB is famous for its parties and all of that. Even professors come and chill at our parties and we all party together. In fact, they get offended if we don't call them for the parties. That also happens. We have chill a lot, and there are so many clubs. So in MBA, each answer starts with "it depends," and this answer also is "it depends." There are many people who didn't take part in a lot of things because they wanted to focus full on the studies. There are people who did not want to study much. So this is also one of the differences between other MBA colleges and ISB. No one will look down upon you if your grades. Nobody gives so much importance to the grades. जिसको करना है वो अपना साइड में कर रहे हैं, that is also fine. The ones who choose not to care so much about the grades, because that is also fine. There are many companies who don't, अगर आपने लाइफ में पहले खोड़ दिया है तो it's not necessary on your resume. There are some companies who don't even want to see your grade. So it's not necessary that everyone needs to be a 4-pointer or 3.5-pointer for that matter. So you can always chill as much as you want to. There's no pressure of any sorts. Having said that, I participated in a competition called Iguera. I think it'll be too early to give you the details of it, but I was managing that. Through that, I reached out to managers of different D2C brands and onboarded them into a website that we had built. Then I used to also go for table tennis, and there are 2 sports week-long sports activities that go on. I was a spock for that, and many other things. You can run your own initiatives. You can form your own, we call it SIG, special interest group. So there's a plethora of things that you can do, and you will find someone or the other who's like-minded, because it's a batch of 900 people. Mohali and Hyderabad campus are very integrated for that matter. So don't worry about that. If you want to have 8 hours of sleep, you have that. If you want to chill and pull a night out, or you'll find people for doing that. So it totally depends on you, because of the that is the another difference. The batch size is too huge, so you will find people. Do things.
Absolutely. I was, in fact, Abhinav would remember, a few months back, we were there in Mohali campus, and somebody was playing beautiful guitar in the evening. It was winter time, and people told me that it was Professor Edward Rogers, the Chief Knowledge Officer from NASA, right? So he takes business complexities subject as ISB. So if the professors can chill, definitely you can chill. So that's one of the things that you need to remember. Okay, I mean, very important question is that some people, the round one applications, in fact, the results are out this year. Some people are getting their interview calls. Some have already gone through it. How, according to you, should one prepare for the interview? And how is it? Is it very stressful, or is it chilled out? Just give a sneak peek into the interviews itself. Abhinav, should we go with you first?
Yeah, so if whatever you've written in your essays is truthful, you will be okay, because because for a person who's taking your interview, that one piece of essay is all that actually matters, and that's all they actually look at. So if you are truthful on that, plus if you can slightly highlight what makes you different from the crowd, those two things, if they're visible on the essay in an honest manner, then you will have questions related to that in the interview, and you will be able to crack it very easily. Sometimes a lot of people write very complex things in the essays, which they know very superficially, and that is something that's caught very easily. So if you are in the process of applying, essay ही अच्छा कर लो, तो आगे वाला part will always be sorted. And be very honest and try and highlight what makes you different from the crowd. Of course, you cannot be Sachin Tendulkar, but there can be something that अगर 10 लोग खड़े हैं तो आप में कोई एक चीज ऐसी होगी which is slightly different from others, which makes you shine. And you have to highlight exactly that in those 800 words. Also, getting a step behind, those 800 words plus the 300, after 300, there's an extra essay if my knowledge is correct. Those 1100 words are like very, very prime real estate, where each word counts. And each word is very important. So do not write anything which is repetitive. Do not write anything which does not make any sense. Go ahead and just do stuff that is very unique in every line, in every word.
Anything to add to it, Mohita?
Yeah, just one point that, as Abhinav said, right, truthfully, one addition point would be there, that be very clear. You've written that one point because the real estate was low, but you should know 5 levels down of it. Suppose you've written ki I managed to bring down this metrics by 5%. Now you should know what you did for that. What are the challenges you faced? You should keep questioning. Jitna aap soch sakte ho, wo socho. So that is one part. Be very clear on the 2-3 things. See, you can go there when the person is drilling you. You can take time to think and all, but you cannot take time to think about basic questions like why you should join ISB, what is your plan after ISB, because this is just 1-year program. You don't have time to get into ISB and then think ki acha ye karu wo karu. Although you can do that, but it's better if you know from beforehand. And at least for the interview, I will suggest that you sound like you have a plan sorted. It can change, but you should have a plan. So be very sorted ki why you think ISB should take you, what you have to contribute, and the other way around ki what are you seeking out of ISB. And I'm not sure if everybody knows, alums will be taking the interviews, so it's pretty chill. It's a mixed, I've heard mixed opinions. Some interviewers really grill you, not really, little bit, and some are very fun and it's a breeze, and then they get through also. So don't make anything out of how you're into, don't stress over it. Just be
I
very
guess
clear who are you.
exactly, because I was there in a few interviews and I exactly heard the same thing. Some of them said that it was stressful just a little bit. Some of them said that they didn't even realize it was an interview. Okay, so I guess one of the things which I extracted from what you said is a bit of a preparation helps. I guess if you need do go for some mock interviews, because they will help you just pander your queries and your inhibitions which are there, kind of confidence that you need. I guess if you also want to ornamentalize your answers, as we say, sundarikaran karna hai aapko apne answers ka, by adding some data points, by giving some analogies. I guess the mock interviews play a decent role there, right? Yeah, so I think that's an important suggestion for anybody who's planning to go for an interview.
Just one more point to add here. You can start feeling how helpful the ISB alums are. Just reach out to them, write to them on LinkedIn to take your mock interviews. I'm sure not everybody will reply because people are busy, but there will be someone or the other who will be ready to do that for you.
Yeah. I'm not sure about everybody, but Abhinav Gupta has already given his mail ID there. So people are already writing to him, I'm sure. Just one question, which from the last line, which you said, I think it is coming up, that, we talk about the alum network, and it's one of the strongholds of ISB. It's one of the most conspicuous, scintillating aspects that ISB has. So how much of that effect that alum network has, and what kind of, support, if at all, you get from them, and if you have any support from them? Abhinav, would you like to go first, being an alum now?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, when I was about to get into ISB, I started something which was around doing some live podcasts for my batch. And I got a lot of support from this alum who was initially at BCG and then was in a startup, and now he's a venture capital guy. And so he was all through there from that time till now. He's there. That's one example. Then there is someone at Google who was there at each step of me, helping me out with my resume and preparing me for interviews for the job, etc. Then there are like multiple people. Like, you can just look into the network and ask for random stuff, and you will get randomly a lot of people to help you. The network has helped a lot of people raise funds. We run this VC called Atrium Angels, which is only to fund ISB startups. As of today, only we just got ranked world number 20 and India rank 1 on the networks on starting up by one of these large organizations. I'm forgetting the name. So this college is all about networks. And as I mentioned in the beginning, that even within my organization, there are 50 people in total who work from ISB at Unilever, and that's like a family. You can briefly direct to somebody who's like a director or CEO / whatever, who's an ISB alum, talk to them. And just because you're from ISB, they will listen to you and try and help you to the maximum extent possible. So that's about the network.
Exactly. Mohita, anything to add to that?
No, I mean, there's
guess.
endless list of help that I've got. And just one point would be like, I got a call from the admissions team of ISB yesterday, late evening, to be present on this call. And today, my entire day of office was full of calls. But I was still excited because I keep finding ways in which I can give back, because there's so much that I've got from the alums. And sometimes I used to wonder, I mean, they're not getting anything out of it. Why are they helping me? But now I know, I mean, it's there. It comes automatically that you just want to do whatever you can for the community. That just gets instilled, I guess.
Exactly. I'm sure.
I'll tell one more story. Mudita, of course, is my batchmate. So Mudita was one. So she's not, that time she was not an alum, but she's a classmate. And she had her own issues to handle. She had a newly married life to handle. But this person was always interested in helping everybody around by sending notes around how to have a positive mental health, how to meditate better, how to find time for yoga and all that stuff. So the community as a whole, and that includes people from the admin, people from the student bodies, people who are alums, everybody is super supportive, and it runs like a very, very smooth car when it's on the road.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I personally know of a lot of alums who have helped students verifying their essays, because they come to us and we deny it. Being a part of the admissions team, we can't do it. But I personally know of a lot of people. In fact, we have been to sessions together, Abhinav. So that was fun. One of the questions, I guess, is ISB is known for transformation, because when we go for presentations and, these info sessions, we propagate, a lot of people go for these transformative journeys at ISB, coming from one sector to another. I mean, there is also one question which I was looking at. Somebody asked that I'm from the manufacturing sector and want to go into, product management roles. So there can be various stories like this. We cannot, pick up each and every question like this. But how, according to you, this transformation actually happens? How do we make it happen in a space of, let's say, 1 year or less than 1 year, because your placements happen, between end of 5th and end of 7th or end of 6th semester. So how fast this happens and how does this happen, first of all? So anybody who wants to go first?
Okay, so it's said that if you do something well for 100 hours, you are actually quite proficient at it. So 660 hours is a lot of time, number one. Number two, in those 660 hours, you have a lot of these cases that come, and in the cases, there are a lot of protagonists who come to the class. They will exactly tell what happened, etc. So you learn from their learnings, their mistakes, etc. early on, and you are already 20 years ahead in life by that process itself. This is a process which is very highly common at ISB as compared to any other B school, where in fact there was some course on networking, etc., where one of these large VC from California joined the class, talked to us for about 1.5 hours, gave us the tips and tricks that she used to become the biggest networker that's known. It's the name of the lady is Heidi Rosen, by the way, if you guys want to go and check. And this is just one example. We had classes where there were, say, VPs and CEOs of Tata Steel who were coming and talking to us. Say there is somebody who's a senior director at Unilever who's coming talking to us. And of course, that way we get to know a lot of stuff beforehand. I mean, even so, when people look at me within this organization that I work for, they're like, how the hell do you know so much about this organization, even though you are very new into it? And I'm like, I've heard all of this in my classroom at ISB, so I'm not even putting effort to know all this, but it comes naturally. So ISB does give you that extra edge.
Right. Anything to add to it, Mohita?
I'm sorry, your question was?
So anything if you want to add to what Abhinav said?
No, but what was your question?
Oh, so the question was like, how does this transformation happen? Because we talk a lot about transformation. Yeah.
So in that 1 year of PGP course, I used to think ki kuch nahi hua hai, it's hyped. The transformation part of it is hyped. Nothing has happened. But once I joined Paytm and people are explaining me terms which are very basic, we used to just use them at ISB. And so that realization happened later, and I believe it's going to happen throughout. Like that realization is pending, complete realization. But I'm sure the transformation has happened. The other thing is from the interviewers. If you know any of the interviewers, because you took the example of product management and I had prepared for it, so I will be better able to answer that. So any interviewer you talk to in the market, you will know that ISB students' ka standard is higher than other B schools, at least for product management. And I can guarantee that. I have talked to many interviews. How that happens is because our courses are also aligned with as I said, in ISB, there's a team who does the whole analysis ki what are the kind of questions being asked in the interview, is that covered in the, not only in the interview, in the market, what's happening, is that covered in the curriculum, and that gets adjusted. So that is one thing. So you will feel the transformation, you will be prepared for the industry.
Right.
Through the curriculum itself. And one more thing, the water will come to you, but you also have to take some extra efforts. It's not like aap bas baithe rahenge class mein sab padha denge and it'll be done. It is not like that. You will have to form a study group. You will have to talk to other peers to understand and learn. You will have to put that effort. That I want to put straight out.
Absolutely, goes without saying. So what we'll do is at 7:15, we'll take one more question and then we open the floor for some live questions. I think we'll get some more ingenious questions from the candidates live. There is one question which people often ask me that, the fee is 40 lakhs, right? Good part of 40. So what happens is when you come to ISB, you have to make a lot of mental adjustment because you have to pay the fee as well. I'm sure a lot of people come there and take loans, education loans. If you have taken an education loan, how do you plan to pay it back? Abhinav?
I mean, I'm almost done paying it back. So, but yeah, so can tell you that you get the loans very easily, number one. Number two, because you start earning within 1 year that I mentioned, my Marwadi thinking thought part on it. You start paying also very quickly. And if you are planned on your expenses, then you can like very easily pay this loan off in about 2.5, 3 years. And if you are taking a part loan, then of course you can take pay it off in 2 years. And if you are doing some stuff on the side like trading, etc., then you can pay it off in 1 year. And I think I'll be able to pay it off in 1 year. So you guys can learn some extra skills like trading, which of course you will be taught in class as well. And that extra bit of money will help you pay it off quickly. But that's not the usual route. The usual route is about 4 years, but that's okay. I mean, in a whole life of about 60, 70 years, or of which you'll be working for 40, 45 years, if you've paid a loan to upskill yourself and upgrade yourself to earn a lot more money, that loan doesn't really matter. We finally take a lot of loans in life, and they are always to upgrade ourselves. We take a loan to buy a good house. That's because we want to upgrade our standards. And a loan for education should not even be looked as a loan, because that is something that is not even, that's going to just make you rise and fly to a level that you cannot even imagine by yourself.
Exactly. Mohita, did you take a loan or you just paid it in one go?
My story is very different from Abhinav. I have not started paying the loans yet because we have a period of moratorium, I think it's called. We have a period of 1 year, and I have my own reasons. So my husband and I got married in, like, we were 2 months married when we joined ISB. Both of us were same batch, 2023. So as a family, we have a loan of 80 lakhs. Which we are planning to pay off in 3 years. So you can call it a 1 crore loan. And we both had 5 years of experience. In fact, my husband had a government job like at BPCL. But we decided to go for this because this was our calling and we wanted to. In one of the classes, one of our professors had said that before ISB, your career will grow like this. Then there will be a small dip and then it will shoot up. So now you have to think whether you can go the Abhinav route and settle it in 1 year. The normal average is 3 years, or you can take it 7, 8 years. But there will be some adjustments that you will have to make. Certainly, you're paying 40 lakhs and it is not a small sum of money. But and you should really analyze it well. You should do the cost benefit analysis. And everybody's standing, the family commitments are different. You should do all of that. But when you're doing it, you cannot only take the numbers. There are so many other factors, the network that you will get and all of that, and which you cannot put a number to it. So you will have to do both objective and subjective analysis. I will suggest you should do that only after you have taken everything into account.
Exactly.
And
You
also
pay
add
for
a
the kind
little bit
of
of math.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little bit of a math. And on an average, even if you're like not a superstar and you're just about rising 10, 15% salary every year, that's a huge amount of money that you will reach to when at the end of 5, 6 years. So of course, the initial year you can pay smaller amounts and keep doing it. But then at maybe 4.5, 5 years of experience, you'll suddenly be getting so much money that you can clear off loans very, very easily. And thinking about loans and that liability and stopping yourself from upgrading in life is something that no one should do. And breaking out of that mindset is something which is very important when you come into any B school, not even ISB, because all of them are pretty expensive.
Exactly, exactly. I'm sure because you do not join a proper MBA class thinking about only monetary aspect, be it placements or be it loan, because the kind of brand that you carry along with yourself for the entire life is something that you will be cherishing till the end of it. So what I'll do is because we can keep on, discussing, and it is very intriguing also for me to understand and listen to all these things. We'll open the floor for some live questions. And any of you can choose to answer it, right? I'll pitch in as and when required. So I would request, guys, that you limit your questions to student experience, extract as much from them as possible because you listen to us all the time. So ask the questions which only they can answer, right? I can see Prasanna there. Prasanna, would you have any questions for us? For them?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks a lot for this session. Quite informative and supportive. Someone who has been there, done that ahead of us, giving it back. So feels very empowering. Um, the question is around my candidature. I happen to be really good at communication. So I hold diplomas in Spanish and French. And I also have I've cleared some international certificates in German, and I'm a Cambridge certified English trainer, besides being an engineer. My question is, since I'm more into the communication and languages side, would that help me get any scholarship in ISB, PGP Pro or PGP, and how to go about it? Thank you.
Okay, so look, any particular thing that you just discussed about is not something which gives you scholarship. So if you're talking about the merit scholarship, it is about the overall merit score that you get. That's a combination of your application score or the profile score and the interview score. So that is how you get the merit. Apart from that, there are different scholarships like need-based scholarship and diversity scholarship. So if you apply and your profile gives you a bit of a diversity quotient, that becomes up into your application, then definitely some application comes to you, scholarship comes to you. Not just because of the communication, because there are very many people applying for different kind of skills that they have. I hope that satisfies you.
It
Your query.
does. It does.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one, as I can see, is Dhruv. Do you have any questions for us? Okay, I guess we lost him. Vijay, I can see your hand raised. Would you like to go ahead?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Vijay, loud and clear.
Yeah, good evening to one and all. So first of all, thank you very much for organizing such an informative webinar.
Yeah, please
Hello.
go ahead, Vijay.
Yeah, actually, I got some information from some of my friends. I just want to clarify if it's true, and I wanted some more insights from your side as well. Like, I got to know that if I'm coming to ISB with my spouse who's working right now, but she'll quit her job and come with me there, then there is a opportunity for her to work at ISB as well. So I want to know if it's true. If yes, then I wanted to throw some light on it.
The best person to answer it is Mudita.
So yeah, I came with my spouse, but both of us were students. There were many people for which nowadays work from home is very, it's very easily available. So there was one other couple who was staying right opposite to us. His wife was working with ISB and she found the job while she was on the campus. Having said that, you should not depend only on ISB because of obvious reasons. So she should also apply at other places. She will not have any problem either working from home or finding a job in Hyderabad or Mohali once you know which campus you're going. Or you should also, she can also apply at ISB. So everything is open. But I will suggest don't only consider ISB.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Great. I have Dhruv next. We can see your hand raised, Dhruv. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry, there was some internet issues previously.
Yes.
So my question is for all the panelists. I just wanted to know if, like, from each person, an instance when they had to tap into the alumni network, when they had to reach out to people, more specifically people who weren't from their batch, for any issue. It could have been any kind of issue, hiring or any kind of a networking thing that they had to do, problem solving or anything, and how receptive the alum were to their problem.
Okay. Abhinav, would you like to go?
I think I've already answered this question like multiple
Yeah.
times, but I'll give a different instance at this time. And I was, of course, I'm working in my dream job, and when I wanted to come here, I reached out to a friend called, an alum called Rahul Rai, who's right now heading LAPME for us. And he took my mocks, etc. And he really prepared me well for the interviews at Hindustan Unilever. I was recently, for one of the businesses that I was part of, which is Biryani by Kilo, we were looking to acquire some business. And even right now, I'm taking help from a couple of my alum network who are in PE and VC on how to structure the deal better with this company called Goila Butter Chicken. So, day in, day out, I think I talk to like 10 alums every day, and maybe 3 of them are helping me in some way, and 7, of course, is random chilling calls. But you can just reach out, and this network is really, really, really good. For instance, I'll tell you, there's this person called Ravinder Singh, who's a writer from the alum network, and he's like very famous. And right now I'm working on writing a book. So I reached out to him on how I can publish the book. And he's helping me out end to end with everything. Sarthak Ahuja is helping me in the same process. And I can go on naming people, and they are like known cool people, and everything just keeps happening. So networking is there.
Correct. So Dhruv, probably this would have given you some kind of an idea of the strength of that alum network. Yeah. Okay.
That was very helpful. If the others also, if they have any instances, it'd be nice.
So what we'll do, Dhruv, is that because we have people, so we'll have to take as many questions as possible. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn, and they will be sharing their stories day in, day in out. Okay. So we'll go with Prachi. Prachi, do you have any questions for us, for the panelists particularly? Hey, Prachi, are you there?
Hello. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yes. So my question is, how does the extracurriculars, or say for an Abhinav's example, an architecture background actually help you to contribute to your peers or to class? What exactly does this diversity mean?
Mudita, will you go for it? How does the extracurriculars help you in your candidature and in the class?
I will not consider architecture as extracurriculars.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a part of the curricular. And there are various different students of arts, students of fashion designing who are there in the classes. And there was this one lady who consciously took all the electives which were not from her regular coursework. Like, she was a fashion designer, and she took all subjects which were very different. There are many electives, like starting term 4, half of ISB, you will be able to pick your subjects, and there are so many choices that you will go mad, like crazy, thinking which one you should take. And there are a lot of insights. In daily life also, there are people who see things from different perspective. A software engineer can never think in the way how a person who has worked in a factory can think. So there are many case competitions, many case studies discussed in the class, which come from one perspective, but you can always add to it. And there were times when professors were teaching cases which they have been teaching for 20 years. Yet, so there was this one case of HUL, and there was something written on the case, and we were dissecting it. And then there was this one lady who was from HUL. So she gave us some insights, and the professor was about to, ask questions and doubt her insight when someone said she has the on-ground experience. She was working with HUL. So, it brings a lot of richer discussions. Whether you are from any background, there will be something where you can add knowledge, which we, not being from that background, will be able to, utilize.
Yes.
So
Yes.
having deep diving into the example you gave for architecture, let's say I'm given a case, question on how to increase the number of ATMs, let's say in a village. So an architect can always, from a business angle or from computer science background, I will have some thought process, but an architect can help me understand whether it is feasible or not structurally. So there's always in every project that you do, there are things that
Exactly. So people often talk about the uniqueness of profile. Unique is what is there, which is unique in you. And you don't have to absolutely be a world beater to be a unique person in the class or while you're filling an application. So good. I mean, going to the next person who is there, Shamindra Vishwanathan, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Shamindra, are you there with us?
Hello. Hi, Ketan.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. You got my name right for the second time. I mean, the last time also you had the same question.
Right.
Yeah. So I have two questions. One particularly, to Abhinav. So I'm also an architect, and I just went through your LinkedIn profile. So I see that you have worked with NGOs, and I am also working with people for the similar kind of causes. But I don't, run a registered NGO, or I don't work for a registered NGO. I just run it with my circle of friends and everything. So when can I add it in my profile when I submit my application? Or, because I don't have anything that's supporting, like a registered document or anything, will it hold anything?
Abhinav, if you're listening to the question, please.
Yeah, I think you should definitely add whatever you do. For instance, I used to run a band and be a musician. I don't have any certification. I don't have any, like, I mean, I have proofs and videos and pictures that I used to perform, but there is no actual proof that I've done X shows, etc. So you have to be honest, and whatever you've done, and one can only bring that out if you've done it. If you've done it, it will actually come out. And if you have done it, you should definitely mention something like this, because it definitely creates an X factor for you.
Understood. Thanks, Abhinav. I have one more small question. So when we have to, in the application, we have to also mention that what after ISB. So I just want to know what kind of, or to what extent the research should be. Should we get into understanding what kind of companies come to ISB in detail, and jot out the path that we are looking at through and after ISB in the application? Or what extent should we do the research for that question?
Again, very honest. I mean, I went on and I told them that this industry is great, but there are certain issues with the way it pays, and that's the only reason I want to get out of it, and I think a B school will help me do that. I was honest, and in fact, the person taking my interview pointed it out, and he's like, this is the first person from a creative background who's given like a very straightforward and honest answer, because everybody else beats around the bush, tries to say that, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. Just be honest, and everybody in the ISB community really likes authenticity and honesty.
Perfect. So we
Thank you
have
so much.
now Shubham. Shubham, please go ahead with your question. Shubham Arya.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Shubham.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand how to answer difficult questions in the during the interview. One of the questions that you just highlighted, something like, so in my profile, I've mentioned something like I want to be an entrepreneur, and I have shared one of the journeys I had as an entrepreneur, a story of a failed startup that I had. But if I'm asked questions such as, if you plan to become an entrepreneur and after ISB or during the ISB you fail to deliver your startup, how are you going to pay off your loan? So some stress questions or difficult questions, how should we tackle them?
Mohita, any suggestions?
I think this is a question to which you should have an answer just for yourself. Like,
Hmm.
you should think about.
Okay. I mean, again, should we be brutally honest about it, or should there be a diplomatic way of handling questions like these?
As in, what will be your brutal, honest answer, which you think will not be okay to share in an interview? Do you have something in mind?
On top of my mind is nothing that I have right now, but I do have some backup. Like I would want to again take some gap from trying to do a startup again and go for a conventional traditional job and try to pay off my loan, something like that.
Yeah, so this is okay. So the point is that Abhinav, you can have a different point of view which you can share, but I feel um, anything is okay, but till you have that plan and you are very sorted. And one more thing is that ISB encourages an entrepreneurship. It's not like you should take a job so that ISB can show that the placement has happened. If you want to opt out of placements, that is good. But now the basic question here is when the placement starts, will you be opting out of placement or will you be going for the entrepreneurship journey? Why they want you to be able to answer this is because it is very important for you to have that clarity. Only then you will be able to utilize the best out of ISB. You will be able to get the best, and also you will be able to contribute. If you will be treading so many paths, it might happen that the synergies don't align, like you will not be the best fit. So when the alumni are interviewing you, they're not only thinking about ISB or about you. It's both the things that they are thinking about, right? So
it sounds too much like a double-edged sword, as in, do I want to have a backup? Does this mean that I'm not too committed to what I want to do? If I'm too much committed, does it mean that I'm not flexible enough to pivot the right
you
time?
be able to convince the other person, the interviewer. It's on you how you are able to convince that I am a kind of person who works better when I have a backup. If I don't have a backup, I'm not able to give 100%. It depends on personality. So you can be
So
very.
there's no right or wrong answer you're trying to say.
There is a right answer. The right answer is you should have clarity and what fits you should have thought through it. Matlab, see, you are a 2 years experienced person who's going for the interview. So you should have thought about all of these things. You cannot go and think, you are right. No, I should not have a backup because then you cannot do all of that there. You should be sure why you are having a backup, or you should be sure why you don't want to have a backup, is what I'm trying to say.
Got it. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Okay, I have Rashmi now. Rashmi, any questions for us?
Hi, good evening, Ketan. Nice to hear you again and the new panelists today. So my question is regarding one of the issues that the entire world is facing at present, and it is regarding mental health. So considering that any MBA program from any of the elite B schools, be it in India or abroad, is it is very hectic and it is very taxing, both physically and mentally. And so from students here who have been through this 1 year packed course at ISB, I just wanted to know how they or their peers or anyone they know from any of the cohorts at ISB have tackled this and for the lack of a better word and not to sound cheesy, emerged victorious or something. Yeah, so how did they or you get through this? Yeah, thank you. That's my question.
Abhinav, would you like to go for this?
I mean, so of course, I don't know if you guys watch this really super show called Roadies. People go there for grilling. So people come to B school for grilling, because to be prepared to be in a position to earn the kind of money that you look at, 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, that money in an organization comes when you are like really, really, really hard on yourself. And you learn that in a good B school. And that is something that is the little bit of stress is the part of the design. Of course, there can be B schools that can run without stress. There are many tier 3 B schools running in Canada where you will not have any stress, but the end product will also not be as great as ISB. So I think, I will not give a cheesy answer to that. This is part of the design. It is by design that it's a stressful course.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's very
Okay.
true what Abhinav has said, but ISB also provides a lot of support. There are 2 in-house counselors who are there to hear, and there are many people who went to the counselors. Then there are groups who conduct things. You can also start your own group and call people and have discussions. So there will be support, and whatever Abhinav has said, that is 100% true. It's going to be difficult, but you should also get into it only if you think you'll be able to manage.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you, Mrita.
Okay. So I have Harshvardhan Saraf. Harshvardhan, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, hi. I have like two questions. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, very much. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So first is that I am a qualified CA and I just started working few months back. That is March on 30th March 2023 to be exact. And I'm planning to apply for the 2025 intake. So if
Mhm.
I apply, say, in the direct entry route, then I understand that a lot of people have more than 2 years of work ex, and I'll have like exact 2 years of work ex, as my 2 years will end on 31st March 2025. So will that be a disadvantage or something like that?
I'll answer that question. So I would rather suggest that you apply to the early entry option route this year itself. Admissions to that are slightly easier. And on the other end of stuff, if you had to ask me personally, if you rather get another extra year of experience before coming to ISB, it's going to be much, much more helpful because finally you were able to absorb more if you have a decent amount of work ex. Like Mudita, for example, would have not found it as difficult as a lot of our peers who were 24 months, 23 months experience. So that's what my personal advice would be.
So basically saying that you apply this year through the early entry option because that is easier. You're not competing with the entire universe because once you hit that 2-year benchmark, then you are actually a direct entry candidate, and everybody who is having 5, 6, 7 years, everybody then becomes a direct entry candidate. So you can apply this year and you can then bide your time and gain that kind of an experience later, right? I hope, Harshvardhan, that would have given you an idea.
Yeah, that's correct. But okay, so like the thing is that this year I'm not very sure because I have to like appear for GMAT and all. So that's why I asked that
So you
question.
apply,
So,
Harshvardhan, when your application is the
okay.
strongest. That's the simple answer.
Okay, and this one second question was that I wanted to know a little about the student exchange program that ISB offers, and like, would you know any of your friends who went for it, and how was their experience about the student exchange program?
Okay, who goes for it?
So I have not personally had a talk with them, but I've read their LinkedIn posts and such. The experience was really good. I have listened to the stories from the alums firsthand that one person went to Tel Aviv and it was really good. The experience was really good. At ISB, how you get the student exchange program is not basis merit or anything. There's a lottery system. You get some it's carried out in a very fair and just manner. There's not everyone who gets the chance to go for it, even if they want to go for it. That is one. I think that should not be a defining criteria why you want to get into ISB or not. Can you say why, like, what is the question that you're getting in your mind? Why do you want to know this?
Like, I just wanted to know what is their experience about it. Like, is it an advantage? Should we opt for it when we get into ISB or not?
It depends. Some people would not want to go because they want to be in the college and have this experience. There are some people who have always dreamt of going to those schools, and they I think Abhinav wants to answer this. So
yeah, Abhinav, you can add to it
Yeah,
if you want.
I think I mean, so there are ample number one little tweak to the answer that Musa gave. There are ample opportunities to go abroad for exchange. Of course, the likes of Howards and Kellogg's and Morton's would have only 2-3 people that can go from the college. But that said, there are still almost everyone I knew of who wanted to really go for an exchange did finally go to an exchange, and to very, very good universities around the world, from Korea to Japan to maybe Canada, UK, some went to France, and I can just go on and on. So, and their experience has been really good, because anytime you interact with people from another education system, another way of thinking, you are just expanding your own repertoire of knowledge and the way you think. So, and I personally know of someone who is working with me at Unilever, works with the LACME team. She went to Wharton for an exchange, and I mean, she's learned a lot of things. So I think that answer is, I mean, that I've had to have a good answer only. So.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I can see Vishesh there. Vishesh, do you have any questions for us?
Yes. Hi, Ketan. You can hear me?
Hey, Vishesh. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to give an overview. So I'm working as a software developer at Wipro, and I have the experience of almost, I think, between 4 to 5 years. So it's almost 4.3 years. So my question to like the panelist is like, when we are coming to ISB, like whether it's for the interview or in the classroom experience. So, so we are considering the work experience. So for example, if I have like 4 years of experience, someone would be having 2 years of experience. So while studying in the class or while giving an interview, so what is exactly expected from that work interview? So sorry, work experience. So I hope
Okay, so you want to understand, basically what I understood is you want to understand how that work experience works in your favor.
Exactly. And what exactly, yeah, it matters, how it matters while, performing in classes or performing in the interviews.
Okay. So Mudita, I mean, let's say if somebody is in the class, let's say, or somebody is going for the interview with 5 years of experience, or let's say somebody is going with 2.5 years of experience, how basically it's different for them?
So there's one thing that I want to point out. Everybody's 2 years of experience is not same. Some people get to, for some or the other reason, get to experience very, have a rich experience. When I say rich, I mean, so let's say for getting a product manager's role, and if you're interviewing for that role, the things that are looked for are, how's your communication? Can you do stakeholder management? I'm picking one example and talking specifics, but it is, you can apply for general cases. So let's say stakeholder management. And if you have already showcased that in your previous role, so when you are interviewing, you will have instances where you would have excelled at it. So that way you will be able to better answer those questions. And in 2 years of experience, everybody will have something or the other that they can carry forward for that role. So you can bring out those instances and drive the interview and tell them what you have already done. In the classes also, there are many things. So for example, there was one class we were it was a OB, organizational behavior class, where we were discussing something, and there was this one lady who had done visits to the villages and gathered some insights. So when the professor was explaining, she also told her insights to the whole class. So that way you will get ample amount of opportunities where you will be able to add to what the professor or the other students are saying, because you would have worked on it. Does this answer your question?
Yes, Mudita. Thank you very much. So just one last thing. So let's take an example from the technical side, right? So for example, if I am a software developer. So for example, a person coming with the experience of 2 years, or the person coming with the experience of 4 years. So both the people, from the technical perspective, I'm saying, so we both are working on like code changes and all those things. So like, actually, I just wanted to know, like, if they are preferring a 4 or 5 years of experience for this particular course and not 2 years, so what extra they're expecting? So like, if I'm making sense.
Both will have different requirements. There are some companies who want people who have less experience, 3 years of experience.
Right.
And there are companies who will want 4 years of experience, and that will all be mentioned while the placement is happening. Which bracket? Sometimes they will also provide different roles. So you will put your 2-year experienced person will put their resume on that category, and a 4 years will put in that category.
Okay.
There will be some companies who will have just one opening, and then when they're interviewing you, it so turns out that you have more deeper knowledge. They will themselves give you a higher role.
Okay.
In a lot of companies, that also happen.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, depending on the richness of your answers and your instances and the problems that you've solved in your work experience, you will be accordingly judged. And you can also, with some companies, you can also negotiate and want to take a better offer. So all that happens, and we know cases.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay.
Just to add one
Soumya?
more last thing, sometimes you might start at the same position, the 2-year experience and the 4-year, but once you start working, you will be promoted faster if you happen to deliver more than the 2-year experience person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I can see Soumya here. Soumya Ramesh, please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, am I audible?
Yes, Soumya.
Okay, perfect. Good evening, and as repetitive as this might sound, thank you again for this session. I think just looking at the smiling faces of both Mudita and Abhinav, it's very evident that you've had a very great experience with the school. My question can be broken down into 2 segments. The first one is, we're working professionals, and how did you go about, preparing for GRE, GMAT? What were your timelines like, and which round did you really apply for to ISB? And the second segment of my question is, after a break from education for a while, what was your process of getting reacquainted with learning and taking tests like in the school?
Yeah. Abhinav, would you like to go ahead with this? I guess we have lost
Okay,
Abhinav.
so I'll give a.
And before Abhinav, you start, just a request, do not reveal which test you took and what was that score. That's it. And this is for both Mudita and Abhinav. Otherwise, yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, anyway, I was not planning to talk about that. I didn't get a great score anyways. So anyway, let's move ahead on that. You apply to watch what round doesn't really matter. ISB is very, very cool as compared to the international schools we have, which are a lot of first come, first serve kinds. ISB has for this really nicely divided how many people is going to take in each round, which turns out to be that almost the same percentage is taken in each round, so that it's fair for the person applying in the round 3 as well as for the person in round 2 or in
Abhinav, you're not audible.
Have I lost? Yeah.
give your most honest self in what you write on the essays. And I think that's the best you can do anyway. There might be people who, I mean, a lot of our alums who are running consulting firms on this, talking a lot of fancy jargon on LinkedIn. But it's nothing. I mean, if you basically are honest and have a score which is in the ranges that ISB wants, there is very high probability that you will make it to this.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Okay. So we have Dipankar. Dipankar, I can see your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Dipankar, but not very clear. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I didn't hear you very clearly.
Oh, okay. Just one second. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So my question is regarding the application essays. I wanted to know that if my journey is a bit more on the personal side rather than the professional, can I focus more on the personal aspects, or do I have to make the essays focus more on my professional journey only?
I can answer that, but I'll want Mudita to go first.
No, not at all. As Abhinav and I both pointed out, right?
And that should not be a problem.
Yeah, that should not be a problem. And it might be a problem in other B schools in India, but not at ISB. There were people who were Ranji players, and you know that they don't get so much of time to to focus on the academics or professional life for that matter. I mean, their professional life is the sport that they played, so that is fine. So your personal life, if you have done anything and you've been passionate about it and you can execute, you can present it well, and you've brought some impact, it's good to go. It could be anything.
Exactly. So it's about the kind of things that you've learned in life. It could be both a professional skill or experience, and it can be something coming from a personal life as well. So anything which you have done, anything which has made an impact, that is what you write in that essay. That is the gist of it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have Ishika. Ishika, please go ahead.
if you have any questions. Hi, am I audible?
Yes,
very much. Right. Hello. So my question is around the admission process. So I just gave my GMAT yesterday, and I have a score which is on the lower side of what ISB admits, which is 700. So my question is, should I apply with this score for round 2, or potentially give it again and apply in round 3? Given the myth that round 3 has lesser seats available, should I be taking that risk? And also just a quick background on so that it's my profile is better understood. I'm an engineer. I work for Goldman Sachs. I have a 2+ years experience, and my academic scores till now have been fairly decent with a 10 CGPA, 95% and 8.52 GPA. So I lack in the GMAT score category, and also on the category that I might not bring a lot of diversity, given that I'm an engineer working in software.
Okay. I guess want to go on mute. Yes. Abhinav, Mudita, any suggestions for her as far as whether her GMAT score is good enough?
As Ketan mentioned, always put.
So Abhinav, we've lost you.
I think what Abhinav is trying to tell you is ki you have to judge yourself. How were the mocks? Was 700 a decent score? What is your highest? What is your potential? If that's the best you think you will be able to do, you should apply with it and live with it and see what happens. There are many people who get rejected in 1 year and then get accepted in the other year. So there are many things that comes, many variables. So control the controllables. That is the thing that was repeated in our B school like time and again. So yeah, control the controllables. If you think that was your best, go for it. If you think no, you can significantly increase it, then I believe why regret later? Apply in round 3. I mean, take that chance. That will be my personal opinion. Ketan, you can suggest more. Statistically, you would have.
Yes, I mean, being a part of the team, I know that I meet a lot of people who are there in the class with much lesser scores. I know of people who have been there with 610. There is somebody in the class this year with a 530. I'm not suggesting anyone to get 530. We all prepare for 800 and then we get whatever you get. But it shows that it's a holistic profile-based evaluation. Also, the quality of profile that you bring in, the quality of work experience that you get in. It's not about the number of years only, right? So it's the quality which you bring into the class. Secondly, I also give feedback to a lot of people, right, who applied last year. And I meet a lot many who were not selected with a score of 750, 770, and 780. So I'm not saying that you don't get 780. It's always an advantage to get a higher score, but that's not the end of it. That is what we are trying to suggest directly and indirectly. It's 700. If you think you can make a significant improvement, I mean, you can wait, but 700 to 710 doesn't change too many things in life, right? So you can apply with the same score also. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I guess you. On you.
Let's take the last question. I think we're hitting the road in terms of time. I have another plan waiting.
Right. Right. I guess we are at 8. Last question. Utsav, I can see your hand raised. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Ketan. So yeah, it was actually around the corners of what Ishika asked. So I am also an engineer with 2.5 years of experience. I just wanted to know, okay, I see a lot of engineers applying for the same role. So I don't know the composition of the class. So is there something like we have a decided disadvantage or something? Because I have seen many forums where it is said that key engineers apply a lot, and since we focus on diversifying our compositions, so is there something to worry on that part?
Okay, so just to give you a brief of what
So
I
can I
know.
start?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just giving a brief to Utsav. So last year there were around 57% engineers in the class. This year there are almost 50%. Next year it can again go up and down. So we are not against engineers or non-engineers or anybody. Also, diversity is not something which we are looking for at the cost of quality, right? So the quality has to be there, and then we look at the diversity. Then now I want Abhinav, if you want to add anything to it.
I'll give you
So
a
Abhinav,
more
you're not.
generic answer. And the answer is that, and this is not just true for ISB, by the way, this is all world. And I've been doing a lot of study around where I had to apply. I did the same study for my younger brother, who is also, by the way, coming to ISB the coming year. And what I realized is that all good B schools, I mean, they realize that, of course, a lot more engineers apply a lot than, say, architects like me. So proportionally, I mean, it's very proportionate. If say the intake rate to a B school is 5%, if 100 engineers apply, 5 will get selected. If say 10 architects, 20 architects apply, 1 will get selected. So they do not do any kind of discrimination on the basis of you being an engineer or an architect or a painter. They will consider everyone as equals, unless of course you have something which is out of the ordinary, where say for instance we had someone in the class who was a world rank 12 badminton player, but with that as well he has a 720 GMAT as well. Of course, I mean, he was not competing with anyone, because I'm sure there are not 20 international badminton players who are applying, especially if he's ranked 12 in the world. There are only 11 better than him, so 12 only can apply. So stuff like that is a different issue, but general careers like, say, lawyers, doctors, architects, engineers, everybody is selected in the same proportion, so you need not worry about that.
All right.
Thanks.
Mohita, if you want to add anything, or else we just call it quits for the day.
Not in particular this, but I just want to leave with one or two thoughts. One is, don't take so much pressure, and don't compare yourself, and control the controllables is what I will say again. Because अब आप engineer बन गए, you cannot do anything about it. What you can do something about it, you can show how you are a different engineer from the other engineers, how you have taken your craft. If engineering was something that you did it as a study and as graduation, you might have done other things as well, right? So try to put everything and showcase everything in a very in a way in which others can understand and realize what you have done in your life. I mean, that was just one aspect of your life. 4 years of education in engineering, you became that. So that's okay. You would have worked, and all day you were not only writing code, you were also understanding, you were understanding what the business aspect was. And that is very important. Don't just showcase just one part. Don't give so much focus on that. Try to think what all you have done throughout, and bring that holistic profile, and it should be fine.
Great.
Yeah,
I guess with the end of this answer, we come to the end of this session and the panel discussion and the roundtable discussion that we've had today. I'm sure with the kind of information that you got from people who have been through the process, who have been through the entire journey, and now they can actually judge what kind of a transformation happened in their personalities and in their professional endeavors, the metamorphosis, whether what they were looking for, whether they actually got it or not. So I'm sure there are a lot many questions too. We have already shared our LinkedIn IDs, so you can reach out to us. We'll try and get back to you whenever we can. And with these kind of webinars, we are trying to disseminate more information and bust more of the myths which surround those informations which you get from different official and unofficial platforms. So thank you very much for attending it. Kaushik was there all around supporting us at the back end. Thank you, Kaushik. Anil was there supporting out for the AV. And again, last but not the least, Mudita and Abhinav, thank you very much for taking out time from such a busy schedule. I'm sure you must be having a lot of things to do. Thank you very much for being there again and support us.
Thanks, Ketan.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye. Bye.